Welcome to Fabulously Flawed, where the perfectly imperfect come to shine. Marni, along with her sensational sidekick Taylor, are the mother-daughter duo that puts the fun in dysfunction. Every episode, we unpack the chaos of mental health while sprinkling in the sass of pop culture. We're here to share stories, laughs, and lessons that remind you to embrace your quirks and to never, ever let anyone dull your sparkle. So join us as we celebrate the beauty of being fabulously flawed. Let's get real, let's get raw, and let's get ready to add a little extra shimmer to your day.
Hey, fabulously flawed friends. Welcome to another episode of Fabulously Flawed. I am your host, Marni, with the dazzling, delicious, delightful.
There it is.
Yes, always.
I love it. Hey, guys.
Wait,
happy to be here.
I didn't finish.
Oh, sorry. You know what? I did. I interrupted your...
My dazzling, delicious, dynamic, delightful daughter, Taylor.
I love it. I
Welcome.
think you even added an extra D adjective in there.
That's the people cheering.
I love it. What's up?
How's it going?
You know, we've just been spending all day together, but catching up, you
yeah.
know, midday catch up.
It was super fun doing the episode that just really got released today. Anxiety. Probably my favorite one.
Anxiety just consumes my thoughts. So why not speak on a subject that is constantly racing through my mind?
Oh, we are like just circles, keeps going and going and going, like a tire in mud. It just spins. Our anxiety, and our thoughts.
Yep. When a tire's exactly that, you know how you start the car and it keeps spinning? That's literally...
Okay.
I'm just laughing, like picturing it, thinking of that's how our mind works. Yeah, pretty much.
So this episode is called, and I couldn't think of a more properly themed title than Vanity has caused my insanity.
Yep.
No, I need to apologize in advance, Tay, seriously, because I am the most fucked up when it comes to my vanity. It's so not normal.
Oh, I've lived with it for 24 years. I know. I'm fully aware of how not normal it is.
Not typical.
Yes.
To the point, I mean, my vanity, again, let me give a little bit of backtrack. I was only loved when I was younger. I had no parents or whatever, and the only family I had only loved you if you were thin. I was chubby. And just elegant and pretty. I was frizzy and chubby. So in order to get love, I had to feel and be pretty.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, first of all, it's on the eyes of who looks at you. You know, beauty is what you see. We all can put on makeup. We can all get our faces Botoxed and tucked, but it's what's on the inside.
Oh,
but I never lived like that.
Yeah. No,
So-
you were taught that what's on the outside
Is
mattered
yes.
more than what's on the inside. You were taught the complete opposite of what
Do you
reality
know, you are
is.
so therapeutical for me. Seriously, this is another aha moment. Last week it was one thing, and now this one. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you were. Oh, yeah. No, I'm serious. You literally were taught that most people are taught it's what your heart that matters. Be kind to people. That's what people truly see. No, you were taught straighten your
opposite.
hair, lose weight, put makeup on, and then people will like
I
you.
remember we were out for dinner, like it was Fancy Schmancy's son's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and I had just done in vitro. Thank God it didn't work. This was like 1995, 96, 97. Glad it didn't work. But she was like, oh, no crying at this table. No. And then,
It's like you just...
wait, then I
your
told her.
dreams of motherhood were just crushed,
Shad,
and
didn't
she's
matter.
like...
Wait, but then I told her when Lisa,
Yeah.
was going out or married to this guy Rick at one time, who
Okay.
I adored. The one, remember, I got in trouble for Valentine's Day. That
Yes,
story. Okay,
yes.
we'll say. So anyway, I said to Nancy, I go, he's like being rude or something. No, maybe it wasn't Rick. It was someone. And Nancy goes, what do I care? He looks good at the table. So as long as you look good, you could tell someone to go
she said
fuck
that.
themselves.
Yeah. Oh,
so
my God.
when I talk about my vanity has caused my insanity, I think my eyelashes have been the biggest source of my neurosis my entire life. I could drive with one hand, curl my lashes, and do mascara. And if I didn't have lashes,
You would too. I'm literally like
Wait.
picturing it.
I remember doing this since I'm 16.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I would curl my lash and then I would use the mascara and then I would curl it again to make them big and pop. I just felt naked if I don't have lashes on. It is so crazy, but I have lost a very good friend over my lashes as an adult. She did my eyelash extensions. My crazy mind saw they were a quarter of a centimeter off, and she didn't have time to fix me, fit me in in her schedule, and I wouldn't talk to her again because it was this much off. The naked eye could not see it. It's like everybody. I think everybody looks at me I know. I think people look at me with like a magnifying mirror, the way
Yeah.
I look. And it's
Totally
so
not, obviously.
Oh my gosh, and my weight. That is something that I have put onto you, not physically, but the way we think about ourselves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so very obvious that the reason that I'm so messed up is because you're so messed up, which you're so messed up because your mother was so messed up,
But
and
we're
it's
ending
just
it
trickled
now.
down. Yeah. And, it's a thing that if a parent has OCD, which you very clearly do, there is that 25% chance of passing it down to
Let me
your
just say
sibling,
something.
or to your sibling, to your child. And that
We don't even need
that's, oh, yeah, we didn't need the
percentages. We just know we crave.
We just know. I just know that your
Yes.
obsession with how your body looks and how people perceive you was 1000% passed on to me through genetics and behavior.
Oh,
so I just kind
circumstance
of
and
got
genetics.
fucked. I got double fucked, you
Well,
know?
see, here's the thing. I was only loved and taught if you look good, people will love you. So I took everything to an extreme. When I was 20 years old, I remember losing 65 or 70 pounds.
Yeah.
But then it went to, I'm never eating.
Right.
Then I ended up in an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
figure. Okay.
You took it to the
Completely
extreme.
There's
to
no
the
middle with
extremes.
me. I'm still learning. It's either I don't eat or I starve myself.
Yeah.
And then
You mean you either don't eat or you overeat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the shame that came with it. So now I'm like, okay, I'm hungry, but I can't have food in me. So that's when laxatives started. And I would take one laxative that turned into 10. I mean, it's gross. And I'm sorry to talk about this, but I'm like, oh, I never threw up. That was gross. But talking about laxatives.
I
is
know.
like, okay.
It's like so normal. Like pop the laxatives, let it out. Yeah, I know. And watching you in my most impressionable years, it was unfortunate that I grew up at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on and so forth, seeing you criticize yourself so much. And you were always so beautiful. I mean, it doesn't even matter. There's no weight on any weight is beautiful, but you've always been a thinner woman with.
Oh, it's
You've
so
always
hard.
you've always made yourself like glam and you always made your
I
appearance
tried,
a priority.
I tried.
So you did. And so but watching you obsess over like you looked so good and you would shit on yourself so bad, that has like it went into my brain.
Of
And now
course.
it's like now every time that I look at myself, I'm like, I hate this about myself.
And
I
I'm
hate
like,
this about
stop,
myself.
you're
I hate this about
gorgeous.
myself. I literally, I've talked about it before. I just went through this crazy, almost 60-pound weight loss. I mean, literally, it's like a full like 10-year-old that just came off of my body. And I still look at myself and I'm like, I hate my arms, my stomach, my this, my that. I just constantly criticize myself.
I am going to be 54 years old in a few months. I don't remember a time in my life, and I can say this, where I ever looked in the mirror and felt completely fabulous. I like how I look. All you've ever heard was, I feel so fat. I look so fat.
Yes.
Does this make me look fat? Do I look fat?
No,
Do I look fat?
Seriously, that's
all
why
you've heard.
I'm so neurotic too. When I ask my friends, like, do I look fat? They're like, what?
I have like Tourette's. Do I look fat? Do I look fat?
Yes.
How are my eyelashes?
And
Am I
we,
fat?
and we laugh and we joke about it, but it's damaged us truly. I mean, you are.
Well,
I don't want
had-
to say you're too far gone because there's always room for healing, but you're,
where that ship has
Right,
pretty
I'm-
much it's
I'm-
left the marina.
Yes, I am trying to at 24 to nip it in the bud as soon as possible, so I don't go any longer hating myself or hating parts of myself. I should say.
It consumed me. One, when you were talking about your impressional years, that's the year I got my mommy makeover. So let's get new boobs, tummy
Yes,
tuck.
2014. I was 14
right?
years old.
And before that, I was doing this dance competition, and my body was like training for something. I mean, it was slamming, and all of a sudden now I'm like, oh, I don't feel fat anymore. But I always was on the thin side, no matter how
Yes.
extreme I starved myself, or diuretics I would take.
Yes.
Like I would take a diuretic and pee out like 3 pounds.
Yeah.
That's just water. The minute you eat, it's going to come back. But
Right.
my mind, we're going to go to the scale in 1 second.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
that's
the
where,
scale's a big discussion.
No, I hate the fucking scale. If anybody, okay, I see a number on
Yeah,
the
we're
scale.
very anti-scale
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
Goldman household.
They're
Very
fired.
anti-scale.
Oh, no. Okay, so me psychologically at first, when I first lost all my weight at 20, remember I was 180 something. Then I was 170, 160,
Yeah.
150. Okay, so now I'm thin, people like me. So now I go to an extreme to never gain weight again. I was 103 pounds when I was like 21 years old, which is, I don't even know that.
And you're
I couldn't
5
even
and for
imagine.
and for reference, my mom is 5'3", 5'2",
No,
whatever.
5'3" and a half.
5'3", and 100 pounds at 5'3" is that's a child. It's like a
No,
12-year-old
wait,
girl.
No. I was actually flattered when I was able to buy something in a preteen size,
Oh
like
my
a
God,
16.
like the junior size.
The junior size,
Junior
exactly. Okay.
section.
So now
Of
I'm real
course, yeah.
thin, and I noticed now I'm weighing myself.
Yeah.
Okay, the scale couldn't go over 105 at one time. And then I was in my period where the scale was between 110 and 115. So 112.5 was my lucky weight. Then I was a little older. I'm like, okay, between 115 and 120. But don't you ever go on over 120.
And
I
You're
know
saying
these
such
numbers.
small,
I know.
tiny numbers. 115, tiny.
Well, but see, all I did at 115 was bitch about
Yep.
not being 110.
Yep.
Instead of looking at myself and feeling fabulous, all I have done my entire fucking life is nitpick at every friggin' flaw.
I know.
And it saddens me because healing, it's wonderful. It makes you aware, but also makes me very sad to think.
Right, you've become, now that you're so aware of it, it's like, damn, you're like kind of feeling that grief of
Yes.
all of those
Moments
like
taken away.
grieving all of those moments where you could have been, loving yourself and feeling fabulous, but instead you sat there
now,
upset.
Exactly. So now if the scale went over 120, as you can attribute to being my child, I would weigh myself, look down, and it was like, let's say 123, 124. I would probably slam the door, tell everyone to go fuck themselves.
Yes, you genuinely know, like, guys, for real. People like see this, the number on the scale, and it pisses them off for 5 minutes, and they go about their day.
Consumed me.
It would, yes, it consumed you so bad that it would literally change your mood. You would go from rainbows and sparkles to dark clouds from seeing a number. I mean, it.
And doing
God,
and
what your family, they poisoned your brain.
And then all the extremes I've taken through the years to never gain weight.
Yeah.
Whether it be not eating. And then when I was on Adderall, I was like, great, now I'm organized and not eating.
I know.
The diet pills I took. I mean, when I first lost weight in 1989-ish, it was phentermine. There was something called fen, but this was just the fen.
Is that like the Ozempic of
Kind
the
of,
late 90s?
kind
or,
of.
I'm sorry, you said 89,
Yeah,
so the early
90s.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was with you, we have to talk about this. At Winn-Dixie for Thanksgiving when you were in third grade, Winn-Dixie had a pharmacy, and I was more concerned waiting for my pharmacy to let me know my pills were ready, which was my phentermine.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't even.
And that's why we were at Winn-Dixie, and I kept not being the...
We were literally on a school
Field trip.
I was in third grade. I'm 8 or 9 years old. And
I'm like, I'll volunteer.
Yeah, my mom's a chaperone for like a bunch of, 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds. And we're supposed to, I remember it was for Thanksgiving. We just had to like create a Thanksgiving dinner with a budget. And, you were more
and
concerned.
they were like, well, wait,
you're like, turkey, mashed potatoes, I don't give a fuck.
Because they had to include math. So now you're giving me math. My pills aren't ready. They were like, we have an 8-pound turkey and we're having 7 people over. How many pounds of Brussels sprouts do we need?
Yes,
And I was like, okay, you lost me at pounds plus people. I'm done.
Oh my God.
I remember going to the
laughing
farm.
'cause
It's hysterical. And then I would go to the pharmacist. They're like, I'm sorry, Ms. Goldman's not ready yet. We didn't hear back from the doctor. So now I'm yelling at the pharmacist. Aiden, who we've mentioned before,
My best friend,
was
yeah.
in the group. And he still remembers like
how
that
fixated
crazy.
you were on. And now I know it was your diet pills.
It was my diet
No
pills.
wonder you were so fucking neurotic.
Everything. And even when I went to see the cast of Days of Our Lives when you were first born, I think God must have punished me for something, probably, my affair. But my eyelashes in the middle of my left eye ripped out when I was
Curling them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, now I'm going to meet people at Days of Our Lives with missing lashes.
Oh God, you probably had like a genuine anxiety attack. And
Probably couldn't breathe.
And I'm ashamed to admit that if it was like the Dancing with the Stars cast and my eyelashes came out of my eyes 30 minutes before, I would really take it to a whole other level.
But it's what would happen was, and I am so aware and mature today. I don't even want to say if it's immaturity, but when Daddy and I would be going out, if I didn't have my compact lip liner or eyelash curler, I wouldn't go. If I left it, turn around. We have to find another store. And my freaking out, this is before awareness or anything. Daddy is like, why is she yelling at me? And now I'm not yelling at you.
Right, yelling at you. You're the situation has frustrated you and you're just taking it out on the person closest to you.
And that's just a different side note. I want people to communicate and let people know that you're going batshit right now over whatever it is. It's not you. I am feeling batshit right now. Don't take it personally. But it's what the eating disorder and my body image did for me. It caused anxiety and depression, and it all goes hand in hand.
And throughout your childhood, like you started getting weighed every Monday morning or something.
When I was 13.
Of course, you are your childhood, you were a product of that. You were...
Yeah, I don't know anything different.
And it made you who you were because you were raised thinking you had to be thin and pretty. And obviously that made an impression on you. You were young, a teenager, a child. And so obviously going to follow you into your adult life and damage you. And It's so bad.
It took me a long time to realize and understand perfect does not exist. There's no such thing as perfection. That's why we're fabulously flawed.
Oh, and I love it.
It's not like we're perfectly perfect.
Yeah,
you know,
no.
we're fabulously flawed. And I wish all of these years I could be like, okay, I don't have the greatest ass, whatever. Instead of fixating on why don't I have a good ass? I don't know. It's my figure. Everything has been just people will like me better if you look pretty. People will like you better. And I've learned when I talk to people on the phone, they don't know what I look like, but they're like, you're so sweet. I'm like, oh, thank you.
I'm so glad that I'm thinking of like our society and how times have changed. And while people there's still such a negative stigma around being overweight, and that there is still that idea that thin equals beautiful. I will say, I think as a society, we have gotten a little bit better with embracing all body types.
Yes.
I think body positivity has become a huge movement. And while we are nowhere near
where we should
getting
be
to where we need to be and should be, I do think there's been an increase in the discussion surrounding it. And I think that with the rise of TikTok and all these social media apps, what I want for these young girls is
to be true to themselves and
to
love
see
themselves.
that they don't have to be a size 2 and they don't have to be 103 pounds.
Oh, how I shamed you.
To be beautiful. I'm just thinking about how, harmful the internet could be, but also could be really great.
When you walk down, when you used to come down the stairs before you were going to 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and I would look at you. Now, I don't want to say middle school. I'm going to say high school.
More high school. What you would do, guys.
I don't remember, so help me remember.
This is we went to therapy and we worked on it. And we're very pro therapy, guys. Just a side note, always, I would talk about it every episode, therapy. Okay, which I wish is more accessible financially because it still costs a fortune.
Wait, I was fired by my psychiatrist for 7 years. Our whole family went to over $3,000. That wasn't even my bill. My psychiatrist did that to me.
Yeah,
I'm still not over it because the way I went, my psychiatrist, I still say it with anger.
I know. Okay, so the stair story. So basically, I would get dressed, whether it was going to school, going to a dinner, going to a party, whatever I was doing, just my social life, and I'd come down the stairs. And keep in mind, in high school, I was not overweight. I was healthy.
Yes,
I was a healthy weight for a teenage girl, and I would come
Is
down.
healthy what they tell people when you don't want to insult them? Like, you look good, you look healthy. Because people said that to me after I gained weight. Like, I don't want to be healthy. I want to be like, you look too thin.
I know what you mean, but I actually mean I was healthy. Like, I was.
You were a cheerleader.
Yeah,
but of course,
I
I had to put you in.
active.
But I had to put you in Spanx.
Oh, yes. I wore Spanx with my cheer outfit. I was the only person on my team wearing Spanx. I'm like, no wonder I'm sweating and
I am
dying.
so sorry because I saw that on you. I was like, we got to flatten it.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
I wasn't like a tiny little girl, but I was generally thin. Anyway, and I would
down the stairs.
come down the stairs. And the thing was, my room was upstairs. My mom was always downstairs. And she'd look at me within a second, 2 seconds.
Evil.
I would know immediately if she thought I looked good or not because she'd have this
a look of horrific
disgust. Like I would walk down as if I was like trying to go to school in a bikini. That's the she looked at me like she'd say, you're wearing that? That's what you're wearing?
But in my head, I'm thinking, I don't want her to feel like me. I don't want her to feel fat and gross. So the way I was thinking it came out.
Right. You were trying to protect me.
My brain didn't catch up with my mouth though.
But instead you just caused so much damage because I just look at myself now and I'm like, God, I hate.
You used to run out of the house. You would wait till I went into the bedroom and then you would sneak out.
Oh yeah, guys. And then eventually it just became where I would wait, until my mom went away and I would just leave and I didn't give a fuck. It was, you know what you hated? Those Brandy Melville shorts.
Oh God, they look like diapers.
And I basically lived in Brandy Melville.
Oh, it was those, I would say
the
to
shorts.
Jody, they were like the size of like a Q-tip.
Yes.
And you're like a full-length person wearing these shorts. They look like diapers.
Yes, I remember you hated it and you made me, I didn't give a fuck after one point and I just did my thing, but
you would like come home from camp like, do you see my Brandy Melville shorts?
Yeah,
I'm like, no. As I'm like throwing them away.
So basically because you were taught to not love yourself pretty much, you indirectly taught me to you unintentionally taught me to not love myself. But then things changed and now all you preach to me is self-love. Like you literally are blue in the face telling me that I'm beautiful and to love myself.
Well, because I would give anything to go back to 30-year-old Marni, 35-year-old, 40-year-old, whatever it is, where I looked really good, but all I did was go to Zumba and be like, look how bloated I look. Look at this. Where right now I'm like, okay, Do I need Mounjaro? Is that how you say it?
Mounjaro. Yeah. Close enough.
Okay. Because this menopause, extra 10 pounds, my face, that's why I have not videoed, because I feel my face looks fat.
You are still, here's to say that Marni Goldman is still healing herself.
Oh, we are so not. I will forever live with this.
Yeah, we'll forever be healing yourself. And guys, if you notice that you are obsessed with your appearance in like a genuine way where it is consuming your mind and your thoughts and you cannot function if you don't feel good, please reach out. The Anxiety Depression Association of America, they improve the quality of life for those suffering from anxiety, depression, and OCD by providing so many resources and raising awareness. And that's, you know what, I'm so happy at this day and age that there is so many resources for those suffering.
But there's stigma, so that people don't want to reach out. And the only way to end the stigma of any mental health condition is by talking about it. The more we talk about it, then the stigma goes away.
I think that it's the conversation is where change starts from conversation.
Is it being a Jewish mother, like, look at your, like, oh, I feel so big, or look at your thighs?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I also blame society and for damaging the minds of people. It's not just women. I know men. Oh my God, can be so insecure too.
If we went shopping and I went to buy a pair of jeans and I was like, okay, I'll try on the size 4. I used to be a size 2, but I'm happily now a 4.
And a 4 is so tiny.
But if I'm a comfortable 4, but if we went to the store right now and the 4s didn't fit and they're like, ma'am, you have to go with 6.
It would put you into it. You would be.
Oh my God, I'm freaking out thinking of what I would do.
Yes, you would. It would, and then you would be so upset, and then I would get so upset that you're so upset over something that isn't that significant. Then we would argue, and it's just, I'm just thinking of our whole life and a constant, because you would be in such a bad mood, not communicating why you're in a bad mood, and I'd be like, well, why the fuck are you in a bad mood? We're having a nice day at the mall, and then. Yep, and then we'd start arguing. Well, blah, blah, blah.
Or if I went out to eat and I ate a lot, oh my God, I'd be in the worst mood. To this day, right now, this year's old, I still look in the mirror and I am like, look how fat I look. Just right now, before we did this.
Yeah, and it's like I hate that F word. I hate that the word
I know,
fat.
I never said that growing up. Remember?
I know.
I said that was our F word.
Wait, and I will, you know what? I will give you that, guys. The word fat, my mom never, ever,
because I was
ever
called a fat whore multiple times in my life.
Real nice, yeah.
I know.
We never used the F word.
Nope.
I remember you always saying, we would scream fuck from the rooftops, but not fat.
That was the F word to me, because it's so mean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I remember one time you were mad at me or said something like, you look fat or something. Oh no. And it's okay, because it was only one time, and you know, things change. You get a pass, and I remember being so distraught. Like, I was like, we don't use that word.
No, we certainly do not.
And now, of course, and it's so sad because I grew up my whole life not using the word fat, and now I look at myself and I was like, I look fat. I look fat.
People don't understand.
I look fat in that.
Whether you're an overeater or an undereater, eating disorders are across the board. It doesn't discriminate. It goes hand in hand with our anxiety, our depression. Like the thought of going out to eat to a party, if I don't know the menu or looking at, if we're going to a restaurant, I have to make sure they have grilled chicken or it consumed.
You won't even. It's very hard to even get you to a restaurant.
Oh yeah, I don't like food or people.
Let me talk about that for a second. We did actually touch on this in an episode a few episodes ago. I'm not remembering which one exactly, but my whole life I've lived with both my parents and my brother for 24 years, but for 95% of that, I would only go out to meals with my brother and my dad my whole life.
It would never occur to me to say, do you want to go out for lunch?
Like
we just had breakfast. Right. Why are you still hungry?
Yeah, or if mom want to go to dinner tonight. No. Dinner? What? Like you would look at me like I had 4 heads.
I still do that, yes.
And you still do that. And it's like, why? Why don't you want to go and sit? Because the idea of eating food freaks you out.
It's a whole combination of things. I think leaving my safe place.
Yeah.
I think the fact I'm even here at the office, and not home is a big step for me.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
no. But also, I don't want to have to eat. If we're home and there's dinner and I want to sit with my family, but having to go that extra mile for food.
Order a meal and sit there. Right. And that is
not, the most abnormal thing.
No, it is the most abnormal thing. And it's like, I want... You have been better, though. I will say, within the past few years, you have gotten...
Because I've been dating daddy.
I know, because your marriage has been better. So your mind has been healthier, which means your actions are healthier. And when I'd say, you want to go out to dinner? And we actually, I remember, went and got like stone crabs one time.
No, even when I came to visit you at college, when we go out of town, you're like, it's so weird. Because out of town, I'll go anyway.
Yes. When we're on vacation, you will always go out with us. But it's like when we're home and dad and I are like, want to go, I don't know, to John the Baker, get pizza or something super casual.
And I look, I'm like, no, why would I want to go eat?
Yeah. Why would you want to go eat? Yeah. So you guys have an idea. That is how my mom and her eating disorder
I'm
is
so glad I compensate with my fabulous personality
You
and
do,
jazz hands.
And you have such a good heart, and you're so compassionate and empathetic that, all of this, it's your own struggles.
Like, I would
The way
cry.
you treat people is
So nice.
so amazing that it's like, so you don't go out to eat at a restaurant.
Big
deal.
If I saw a little child or any child crying, but if someone was teasing someone, calling them fat,
I know.
Oh my God, I would want to just cradle them forever.
Oh my God, I know the words
you
you're
know
gonna
my
say
words. Thank you.
before.
You're the best understudy.
I know, right? It's like we always joke that if my mom can't do something, I'll just be her understudy.
You'll be like the sailor to my Christy Brinkley.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's
Dancing
guys,
with the Stars.
So you guys, real quick context on that. Christy Brinkley was supposed to be on season 29 of Dancing with the Stars, but she broke her wrist in rehearsals, so her daughter took over for her.
I love how I just put myself in the same category as Christy Brinkley.
The supermodel.
We're twins.
Yes, I know. And me as Sailor. Sailor's a model too. I'm not, So anyway, we're just here to say that
you're not alone.
You're not, for those struggling, thinking they're too big, too thin, not pretty enough, not good enough. You are, and I know. I'm sure you hear it all the time that you are good enough. You're born this way. Oh wait, Lady Gaga, whatever her lyrics are, that you're on the right track, baby. I was born this way, or whatever she says. The way you were born is perfect, and I know that you may not feel it because we don't feel it. Oh, I'm sorry, not perfect. We don't like using the word perfect. The way you're born is just right.
The way you're supposed to be.
The way you're supposed to be. So do what you can to love yourself. I think it's so important to put the effort in to fix your mind and give yourself that love that you deserve.
When you are happy, and it's true, you glow from within.
Yes.
There's something about you, your eyes sparkle, a smile. Because I auditioned people for commercials for years, I noticed I would bring in models, and then you would have your character actors, the funny ones. I loved the character actors because they were funny and they made you laugh, and it didn't matter what they looked like. You didn't even think, oh, he looks chubby or she's chubby. And then you'd have these models come in who photograph and exquisite, but ask them to say, ooh, that candle smells good. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. So
that's why I loved representing, when I was an agent, all the character actors. I mean, the models are gorgeous and everything, but my thing was just being yourself.
And you know why? It's because it's what's on the inside that matters most. People are attracted to who you are, not what you look like. Think about it.
Oh, the voice. That's why they do the voice, so they can hear how they sing.
Yes, I love
And then when
that
they
so
turn
much.
around, they're like, oh!
And it's kind of like the show Love is Blind, which there's a lot of controversy around this season. I mean, have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. It's basically you fall in love with someone's heart and their soul, not, how they look, like every other dating show. So I think
that would be a tough one.
It is.
I'm so glad I'm not in that category.
Yeah,
or
it
anything.
is. But the idea, the purpose behind the show is great.
Look, right now we're doing our podcast, but we listen to people on the radio, our favorite DJ. We don't say, well, what does he or she look like?
No, and if you think about it too, like when you want to make friends, you're going to become friends with the nice, funny person, not just someone who looks like they are a supermodel.
Well, the insecure people, if we talk about children, they want to be friends with the queen bee of the school because they're afraid they'll get made fun of or something. But when you do what you love, you find your other people that do what you love as well. And that is where you will find your people.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, most people have to fake their likes, their wants, their hobbies, because I want to feel with the cool crowd. What's the cool crowd? There is no cool crowd. You're the cool crowd.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Tay, I would never do that to you today. And if you were getting ready, and even now when we're both, oh, do I look fat? I would never have said those words to you growing up. And when you have a child, and if you have a little girl, you will not say those things to her. I will not allow it.
Of course not. And for all of you mothers listening, if this episode has made you realize that maybe I do some of those shitty practices to my own child.
It's not intentional.
No, it's not, because you were probably, you probably grew up thinking you weren't beautiful.
But it has such an impact on the person.
But it does. So try to eliminate that for the sake of not only yourself, but your daughter or your son or whomever.
Even when I was in my 20s, just really quickly, I remember we were away with Fancy Schmancy and all that, and she didn't talk to me all weekend. And I remember thinking, what did I do? And then she just randomly goes, you know what's been bothering me? Like, what have I done that's bothered you? She goes, the hair extensions. Don't like them.
See, it's like I hear these stories,
so
but
she
then
was
you refresh me of them, and I'm like, no wonder you're so fucked up.
She was the only visual that I had as a mother,
Yeah.
if you want to say that.
Yeah.
But there were contingencies. You couldn't call her at a certain time. You couldn't do this. You had to look a certain way. When I went to borrow her leggings, I think I was 19 or 20 when I was still heavy. We were close enough that I could go to her closet, but when I stretched them out and she went to wear them, that's when her husband, Jerry, banned me from ever going into the jockey club. I remember pulled in there one night and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Blair said you can't come in. He's that much of a fucker. And we're going to talk about karma on the next episode. What he did to me threw me out of my grandmother's shiva, but I had nowhere to live in 1987. But he got his karma, and we'll talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a whole other discussion. So guys, just
on this note, I want everybody to be fabulously flawed.
Yeah, and to remember to visit the Anxiety Depression Association of America website for more information, for resources on to learn how to raise awareness.
Up until right now, years old, there was nothing for, if I was younger and I knew I can call in eating disorder or a website or apps that will help me with my eating, my anxiety, my depression.
They weren't around when you were.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know I had body dysphoric.
Body dysmorphia.
Thank you, body dysmorphia disorder. But it's to such a point they could have me as the poster child. And anyone listening, I want you to know, when you look in the mirror, I want you to smile at what you see, because anybody can change their outsides. It could be someone can throw gasoline on your face and set you on fire, or you can have surgery and you can tighten everything. But what's on the inside is the most important thing. And love people around you. And if you find yourself talking to somebody and telling them, "Ooh, I don't like how that looks," or "You look fat," or "Is that what you want to wear?" Just be mindful of how you say it, because it is so damaging that here I am at 53, 54 years old and still fucked up in my head on how I look. I even the worst thing you can say to anybody is, "Do I look fat?" Like, nobody's going to say, "Yeah,"
I know, right?
But Daddy it's like, "Stop! You're not fat. You're gorgeous." You know, and so we're all just beautiful on the inside.
It is, and we're all a work in progress.
So on that note, guys, just smile big, make yourself laugh, be yourself, play more, work hard, and as I always say, shine like the brightest star in the sky.
And while you're doing all of that, don't forget to visit our store, fabulouslyflawed.net with 2 Ds. That will take you right to our Etsy shop full of all of these amazing products.
All of our affirmation. They're so fun.
Yeah,
they are so fun, guys. I promise you there is something for everyone, like the gunkles.
Yeah, like the gunkles, our favorite. And if you want to learn about additional resources to help with, OCD or body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression, reach out to us and we will provide you with additional resources as well.
On our website. And on a little bit of a deeper note, if you know somebody that is suffering emotionally, 988, it's 3 numbers. It's the National Suicide Prevention Line. Doesn't have to be if you are suicidal at that moment, if you are feeling helpless.
Yeah, any feelings of helplessness,
distraught,
feeling down,
they
reach
are there
out,
for you.
Suggest it to a friend, your family member.
I never had that. It would have saved me.
Please take advantage of the resources that are available, because God, they help so much.
You don't have to suffer.
And
you don't have to suffer alone.
Life is too short to suffer, guys.
So put yourself in that bubble. Don't let anybody burst it. Stay true to yourself. Never let anyone ever, ever dull your sparkle. You stay up there shining bright as you can be, and sending so much love and so much peace. Until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fabulously Flawed. Remember, we drop new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, so be sure to subscribe and never miss a moment of this dazzling duo. Craving more sparkle? Head over to fabulouslyflawed.com for exclusive content, episode archives, and more. And don't forget to check out Fabulously Flawed on Etsy for tons of amazing products that are sure to brighten your day. Be sure to follow us on socials to keep the conversation going and become a part of our Fabulously Flawed family. Until then, keep embracing your beautiful imperfections, and remember, never let anyone dull your sparkle.